So welcome everyone to our MS Views and News on Monday, Movement Mondays. My name is Bri Rhea. I'm a Pilates instructor. I have been doing it for over 4 years. I've been practicing for over 6 now, actually 7 now, since December. And it's been something that has given me a new almost like lease on life. I still am very active, but I used to be like a lot more like weightlifting, strength training, but I would hurt myself during these movements. And so I needed something that gave me an opportunity to not only strengthen my body, but also to simultaneously lengthen it. So we'll be going over a lot of the Pilates principles in our movement class today, and just some housekeeping things to think about is that we want to make sure that you are breathing, like focusing on the breath while you're moving for today. So a lot of the expansion of the rib cage will help you to not only lift the spine longer, but it will also help to create more space in the thoracic cavity, in the spine, or not in the spine, around the spine. Some other things that as I'm going over things that we need to remember is the energy coming from the muscles. We want to make sure that we're not just like flailing the arms and the legs around and just kind of like moving like a wet noodle. But we really want to make sure that you are, like, if we're lifting the arms out in front of you, that you're reaching out and also simultaneously like pulling back. So you have to find that sort of that Goldilocks sweet spot of being able to lift, pull back, push away, so that you can create as much energy throughout the muscles as possible and get connected to the body. That mind to muscle connection is very important, especially when we don't have really a lot of feedback coming from anything. The other thing that we'll need for class today is a pillow. So any kind of throw pillow that you have nearby, or anything really that gives you a sort of like squish. So you could roll up a towel if you have that, or a blanket, or a pile of laundry might work for you too. Some other things that we also want to go over is from now on, leading forward into 2022, you don't have to re-sign up for any of the classes. Like if your email has already been registered for the classes, you're good, like you're golden. You don't have to sign up again. The email will come out the day before, and that is a very important part that I also want to announce is that if you are signing up within the 24 hours, you might, keyword on might, but you might miss the opportunity to get the link sent to you. So please make sure that you are, if you are sending the link to anyone and sharing this with anyone, that you're giving yourself the right amount of time to sign up. So basically 24 hours beforehand, you're signed up, you're good to go, you're golden, and you'll get the link the day before. Otherwise, if you are signing up the day of, some emails might fall through the cracks, and you might not get the link. But that's okay, because what we do is this is a recording, so you'll be able to access this as well as all of the other past and previous videos that we've recorded. So, by the end of 2022, we'll have 12 new videos for you to go back to replay to see if you've gotten stronger. It's really a great resource that MS Views and News has offered to this whole community. So go ahead, grab your pillow, find your seat onto a chair. And again, my name is Bri. If you see me walking back and forth within these next couple of minutes until our cutoff time of 5 minutes, that's just because I'm letting in other students. So if you are here in class today, just thank you. I appreciate you for being and honoring and respecting our time here for the next hour that we have. Otherwise, if in the future you come to class and it's past that 5-minute mark, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to let you in. It throws off the class dynamics. All right, so remembering that we're not flailing, we are working with the body. So we're going to start with that pillow between the legs. Okay, so give it a nice big hug and squeeze. And with your feet planted firmly onto the ground, your hands are down by your side. I want you to take a big inhale. Remember that the ribs are expanding out to the side, and we're trying to lift the spine up as if it's being pulled up by a puppet string. And as you exhale, feel the ribs coming together. Belly button is pulling in towards the spine. And one of the hardest but most important part of our deep core is to be able to lift the pelvic floor up and in. So there's really no way to see that happening, but you can definitely feel it. So with the ribs wrapping in, the belly button pulling in, and that pelvic floor lifting, when you lift the pelvic floor, and I'm sorry for any vulgarity here, but if that's even a word, it might sound a little vulgar, but it's like you're trying to hold something up inside of you. Okay, so everyone has a butthole. So think about you're lifting that up inside of you. Okay, so now while you're hugging that pillow, I want you now to inhale, open the legs, don't drop it though, and then exhale, give it another big squeeze. So while we're doing this, the ribs are still expanding, your spine is lifting, and you're exhaling to squeeze the legs together, making sure that those feet stay flat. Let this be a pattern, a rhythm, a sequence that you sync up with the breath here, okay? So, sorry, my hands just rest them down by the side as you continue opening and closing those legs. All right, so that is the 5-minute mark. We'll make sure everyone is muted. Thank you everyone for coming. Again, my name is Bri. Right now we've just got that pillow or something squishy between the legs that you're squishing and hugging between the legs as you find that deep core. So imagine if you could connect to the deepest muscle right in the center of your body. What does that feel like to pull up and in? Okay. Now, while this is happening, I want you to start to add on a little bit to our movement. So now rest the hands onto the legs. You're still opening and closing those legs, but as you inhale and open the knees, pull the chest up towards the ceiling and look up. And as you exhale and squeeze the knees together, pull the chin down and look into your lap. Inhale, lifting the chest up. So it's not about just looking up, because I know that can affect some neck movements there, or the zingers that you get. So as you inhale, think about pulling that chest forward and up. And as you exhale, it's like somebody is pulling the chest back and away. We'll do this a couple more times, just finding where the range of motion is in the spine. Inhale, open the front of the chest. Exhale, open the back of the body. These are called our cat and cows. Cat and cows because as we inhale and pull the chest forward, it's like your udder is being pulled forward. And as you exhale and round the spine back, it's like you're a cat on Halloween getting super angry at all the trick-or-treaters coming and going. Exhale one more time into your cat spine, and then inhale, stack the spine up nice and tall. That pillow is going to stay between our knees, and your arms come out to the side. Take a big inhale, stack the spine taller, and as you exhale, like a windmill, you go down to one side. Inhale back up. Exhale over to the other side. And inhale back up. If holding the arms out to the side doesn't feel good, cross the arms across the chest and continue to side bend and lift back up and go over to the other side and lift back up. We repeat this pattern here. So our goal is to open up this side of the body that you're leaning away from, and then to strengthen the side of the body that you are leaning towards. So the spine was meant to move in all different kinds of directions, okay? It wasn't meant to just stay still and long and tall. We got about 2 more each side. As you inhale and lift up, think about that puppet string lifting you up, and then exhaling like you're trying to reach those fingertips as far away from each other as you can. One more time to the last side there, and now hold the arms either out to the side, this will be more challenging, or across the chest. That's your modification. But we're going for some rotation now. So as you exhale, we twist ourselves to one side. Let's go to the left. And then inhale back towards center and exhale to the right. You are still holding that really big hug and squeeze around your pillow. Inhale and reach through those fingertips and pull yourself to the left and to the right. 3 more times each side. Feel the feet getting firmer, placing down into the mat, or do you feel like one leg is kind of lifting up? These are just things to notice, okay? Try to keep the connection that you have with the ground as you rotate from one side to the next. We got 1 more to the left. Being very intentional with your movement. And final one to the right. And then bring it back forward, hands down. You can place that pillow either on your lap or just drop it onto the ground. With your hands onto the lap there, start to cat and cow through the spine, this time without the pillow. And notice if it feels any different than when we were holding or hugging and squeezing that pillow between the legs. Okay, you can rest it on the lap if dropping it down to the ground doesn't feel good for you, like you don't want to bend over and get it when we're done. We will be using that pillow for majority of the class today. All right, so now stacking the spine up tall, start to roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back, like you're pinching something between the shoulder blades, and then down. And then continue rolling those shoulders up, back, and down, up, back, and down. And if you'd like to get a little bit more movement through the arms, you can kind of like you're doing a really big like butterfly opening stretch there through the chest, through the arms, getting the blood flowing down to the extremities. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. Let's start small first though. So either rest the hands down by your side or onto the lap. We lift up, you roll forward, and then drop the shoulders down. Up, forward, and down. Up, forward, and down. And let this be like an exploration of your move. Maybe you want to do one shoulder and the other. But when you do bring your arms into the movement, it'll start to look a little bit like a freestyle stroke. Or if both arms are going through the movement, it'll look like a butterfly stroke, okay? So do what feels best for the body. This is your chance to connect to you, okay? You are not only a physical body, but you are also a mental body, okay? You have the mind, you have the body. Can you connect to both at the same time? All right, now from there, rest those hands down. I want you to start to roll through the wrists. Keep the hands separate for now. And just think of like if you're like reaching into a Pringles can and you're trying to like scrape all the crumbs out of the bottom, and then you can like roll and open those fingertips a little bit more, or maybe like you just got your nails did, you're going to show them off to all your friends, you just got some new rings, go in the opposite direction. Your arms can stay down by your side if holding them out in front of you feels a little like just not good. So please always make sure that you are listening to your body for the next hour that we have together. This is not something where you like force yourself or like push yourself too far, okay? All right, so now from there, with that pillow, you're just gonna place it onto your lap if it's not already there. And we'll start to lift and lower one ankle up and then switch the other ankle comes up as that first ankle comes down. Okay, so this is called prancing. Okay, think about a horse prancing through the meadow. So it's like these little horse feet are clopping around. What are those called? Hooves. The hooves of a horse clomping around. Okay, now try both feet up and down. And with that pillow that's on your lap now, I want you to like just a gentle pressure with your hands pressing down so you can feel the resistance of your heels lifting up. So there's something that you're pressing those heels up against. Try to inhale, lower the heels, and exhale, lift the heels. And now remember, come back to the core. Always like let it be your mantra. Ribs wrapped, belly button to the spine, pelvic floor lifted up and in. It's like you've got a blueberry in your pants. I know it sounds weird, but it's like you've got a blueberry in your pants and you're trying to lift it up inside of you, okay? That's your pelvic floor contracting. All right, now with those ankle rolls, one leg is gonna go out in front of you, and maybe if you can, lift it up and roll it around. Otherwise, leave the heel onto the ground and roll it around, okay? So I'll give you guys options throughout the class to either make it a move more challenging or to bring it back a bit and make the modification easier for you. Switch directions if you haven't already with that ankle roll. And so what we're doing is we're just kind of like opening up the space in all of our joints here. Stretch the other leg out, roll that foot around. Remember, if it's hovering, that will be a little bit more intense to be able to hold that position. And then switching to the other direction. Remember, you can hold that leg lifted or down onto the ground. Okay. And now with that pillow on your lap, step the feet back in. opening up through the knee joints here. Once you put a little bit of pressure into that pillow with your hands pressing down into it, and try to slide your right leg out and up in front of you, or your option is to slide it on the ground out in front of you, okay? As you are choosing which move feels best for you, let's work just one side at a time. And if I call out the right side, or maybe you start on the left side, that's perfectly fine, okay? We want to make sure that that we are doing what feels best for our body. Again, listening to our body, okay? It always comes back to that. Let's go for 5 more. We want to try to aim for about 10 to 12. All the research out there says that that range helps to build the strength within the muscle, so that when we are continuously moving in that range, then we can keep that strength building or maintain our strength. Let's do 1 more, out and then bend, okay? And then switch it to the other side. So if you started on your right, your left leg is extending and then bending. Extending, trying to push through the heel, like you're trying to stomp onto the wall, flat-footed out in front of you. Or remember that the option is to slide the foot away and then back underneath of you. Slide and pull. Otherwise, lift and kick and bend. 5 more there. Hands are still pressing into the mat. Do you feel like the core, like the core is still engaged? It's almost like a corset is wrapping around the waistline, and you're keeping that stability in the spine. 2 more times. Extend the leg out. Bring it back in, and then 1 more time. Extend and bend. Alrighty. So now, from there, hands are still pressing down. You've got that pressure into the pillow. Let's try to lift one leg off of the ground and then place it back down. So whichever leg you are starting on, I want you to stay with that leg. As you continue lifting and lowering, your arm right above that leg is trying to also work against you to push it down. If that pressure feels like too much, you can take away the pillow and practice the movement there, okay? Again, these are all options. You do not have to take them. You do not have to push yourself. You guys are doing awesome from the videos that I can see. Last 5, 4, 3. Alrighty, and 2 and 1. We switch it over to the opposite side. Remember, you have that pressure there if you need it. Trying to stay lifted and tall, so pulling that little puppet string up where the shoulders are dropping down, the neck is growing tall, and it's kind of like you're marching in place, but just one leg is lifting up and lowering down. We'll switch here and just 5 more. So that means we'll alternate. We'll alternate from one side to the next. Last 3, 2, and 1. So now the right leg, which is the one I started on, comes up, back down. Left leg comes up and down. Try to exhale to lift the leg. And the reason why, like, you'll hear me cue out some of when you should inhale, when you should exhale, is because that exhalation kind of gives you an opportunity to connect deeper to the core. So maybe just pause right here and see how, if you can breathe all of your breath out, what happens to that core, what happens to the rib cage, what happens to maybe the pelvic floor lifting up and in. 4 more each side. And 4. Last 3. And 3. And even just by pressing down into that pillow, your arms are starting to warm themselves up too. Last 1 each side, right and then left. Alrighty. Now from there, go ahead and arms out to the side like you're a capital letter A. The head is at the top of that A. Palms are forward, fingertips are down. And I want you to bring the hands to the shoulders like you're giving yourself a little tap on the shoulders, like good job. And then open back out again. Bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. Exhale, inhale. Think about, you've got energy zapping out of your fingertips all the way down to the ground, and try to feel the shoulders pulling down the back. Even with the shoulder blades, try to pinch them back together as those arms reach back behind you. And now I do want you to start to focus on pulling those arms back as they open out to the side. So pull back to help open up the chest. Last 3. Last 2. And final 1. Alrighty, good. Now, from there, Arms will go down by the side. Let's place that pillow back between the legs. Give it a nice hug and squeeze. And what we're working on is called the Pilates 100. So the arms will start down by the side. You want to have as straight, as lifted, as tall of a spine as you can get for yourself. And it's like you're pumping the arms from the shoulders. So remember how I said at the beginning of the class, no flailing. So we don't want to like move from just the wrists or the elbows. We don't want to have wet noodles. But the arms are moving back and forth very quickly here, about 3 to 4 inches. That's all it takes. Forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. And start to pump those arms from the shoulders themselves and start to exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, 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 inhale, 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 inhale. So it sounds a little bit like this. You can totally move the arms a little faster. Or with the breath, you can make it more staccato, meaning that you're like to the pump of the arms. And what this does is, again, is just helps you to connect deeper to the core. And our goal is to make sure that the body itself isn't moving, but that you are keeping that stability there because of the core. Now, I want you to keep pumping those arms, but can you start to hinge the body back? If you have a back on your chair, just like lean against it lightly. Like don't really lean on it like you're relying on it, but just lean back and just be like, okay, yep, there's the back of my chair. Okay. Now, hopefully you're feeling a little bit more core. If that feels a little too challenging, let's come back up. We got 3 more big breaths. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Then bring the spine back up nice and tall if it's not already there. Hands onto the lap. Cat and cow through the spine. Rolling the chin down and trying to arch the spine behind you. Inhaling, pulling the heart forward and up. Go through that 2 more times each way. And you can like give yourself a little wiggle from side to side. Feel out where the tension in the body is. And pulling yourself forward and maybe wiggling forward. And one more time back into your cat. And one more time forward into your cow. And then find that Goldilocks, that neutral spine position, that straight spine position between those two. Okay? So now from here, keep hugging and squeezing in on that pillow. Arms are forward. It's called a roll down. So imagine that you've got another big pillow right here in front of you, and you are trying to lift up and over it and go down as far as feels comfortable. Your hands can totally come to your legs or your feet as like a little bit of support, and then as you inhale and stack the spine up tall, we're back into that same position. Shoulders are down, neck is tall, and arms are reaching forward. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, stack back up. Can you lift the spine and then go over, like your belly button is trying to pull away from that imaginary pillow or ball that's on your lap, and then lift back up? We got 7 more of those. Our goal is not to like round and hunch the shoulders forward, but to keep them soft away from the ears so that the neck stays nice and long. Lift back up for 4. Exhale, up and over. 5. Inhale up. Good. Last. Here we go for 4. Inhale back up, still holding that, hugging in that pillow. 3 more times. Up and then over. Try to pull the belly button in closer, closer, closer the lower that you go. Closer towards the spine, like there's a string pulling it back as you go forward. 2. Inhale, lift back up. It's like you're diving into the pool. Exhale, up and then over. And then stack the spine back tall again. Nice. All right, so now that pillow, you're going to take it out from between the legs, place it just onto one of the legs. I'm going to demo it with my left leg holding onto that pillow. With the right leg, okay, these are our single leg circles. So if you have any trouble lifting that right leg up off of the ground, go for a heel lift and then to circle the thigh bone around into the hip socket. So I want you to think of your hip as a bowl and your leg bone as a spoon. You're kind of like stirring the pot. Okay. Otherwise, if you are able to lift that right leg up, I want you to kind of just circle that leg around, pulling the foot away from the ground and just sliding it across the ground. Okay, and now both hands are pressing into that pillow on the left side, and notice how just that pressure of pushing down maybe helps you to feel a little bit more of your obliques on the left side, a little bit on the right because we're slightly twisted here. We got 4 more in this direction. Last 2. And 1, and then we switch in the opposite direction. Okay, so we lift up, bring it in, and then down. Out to the side, up, bring it in, and then down. 8 more. And I know I probably sound like a broken record player, but remember, we're not flailing around here, so even that foot is active. Okay, remember, if your foot does not lift up off the ground, you're still trying to circle that leg bone around in that socket. 3 more times. Trying not to move the body around with it. 2 more. Okay, but staying stable, strong, and tall. Last 1. Now, place that right foot down. Switch the pillow over to the other side. Press both hands like you're about to do like some CPR on somebody. Lift the spine up taller, and then pull that left leg up, out, slide it across the ground, and then in. Slide in, up, out, and around. 7, 6. Now, with the breath, we're trying to sync up the movement. So each circle is an inhale and an exhale. 4 more. 3. Last 2. And final 1, then switch directions. Going out as wide as feels comfortable, up as high as feels comfortable, and in without moving any other part of the body here. Okay. So as we find our foundation, our base of the spine, then everything else like grows taller from there. Oops, I think I went back to my first direction. Let's try that 4 more times. And that happens. Like sometimes your body just like goes back to what it knows best. But it's our goal to be aware of the movement itself. Last 1, and then take a rest. Go ahead and cat and cow through the spine. If the legs are feeling like, ooh, that was a good work, open and close them a couple times, or you can windshield wiper them side to side a couple times. All right, good job. So those are single leg circles. Now with that pillow, you're gonna have to place it, like sit on it slightly, okay? So your sit bones, the bony parts of your pelvis are still connected to the chair itself, but it's that pillow that has kind of like slid up underneath of you, okay? And if you have a back on your chair, like that pillow will kind of like push up against you too, and that's what we're kind of going for. So I'll be holding my hands back there so I can kind of simulate that same pressure of that pillow pulling back against you. If you'd like to bring your hands back there, it's a really nice chest stretch if that's what you're going for too. So take an inhale to start, feet are planted, hip distance apart, and as you exhale, pull the belly button towards the back of the spine and start to roll back into that pillow. This is called a C curve. So make a C curve with your lower back. Inhale, lift the spine tall, and then exhale, roll back down. Inhale and lift up nice and tall, and then 8 more times rolling, C curving, feeling that pillow underneath of you. So while we're doing this, 7 more, I want you to think of your hips as like an ice cream scoop. You're trying to get as low down into the carton as you can and then scoop the tailbone up. Okay, lift the spine up tall again and then get down and burrow that tailbone down and scoop up. It's maybe like you're trying to avoid a gut punch to the belly, pulling that belly button away from a fist that's coming at you and then lifting back up again. 4 more times. Last 3. Now we're going to hold that C curve into, and on this last one, hold that C curve position, and start to lift one knee in towards the chest, like pull it in as high as you can. Meanwhile, the other leg is pushing as hard as it can into the ground. Lower that first leg down, you're still holding that C curve, and lift the other leg up. So it's called a single leg stretch. As you place one foot down onto the ground, I would like for you to try to reach it as far away from you as you can. So now maybe that leg looks straighter and straighter each time you put it down, and you're holding that C curve. Okay, so now if you need to, placing the hands underneath of the chair or on top of the chair, just as long as the shoulders don't start to come up towards the ears. Lift the upper part of your spine while the lower part still has that C curve. Okay, that's all that energy is coming from the core to pull the navel in a little bit deeper, to pick the pelvic floor up a little higher, to wrap those ribs in and down towards the hips a little further. Inhale, reach out away. Exhale, pull back in. Let's go for 3 more each side after this. So 3 more on the right and switch to the left. 3 more there. 2 more, and 2, and now last one, and 1. So now place both feet back underneath of you, stack the spine up tall. You'll still have that pillow underneath of you, and if it's kind of sliding away like yours is, you can, or like mine is, you can kind of sit on it too to make sure it stays in place. Cat and cow through the spine. Okay, feel the difference between holding that flexion of your C curve and making sure that you get into that extension to oppose that motion there. Okay, so by opening up the back of the spine and opening up the front of the spine, we are giving our body the medicine of movement. All right, so now this next one is a little bit more challenging. You can, if it's too challenging for you, what you can do is go back to your single leg stretch. Okay, so remember what that felt like for you. Your hands, though, are going to need to push down into the chair, and you're going to have to come back into that C-curve position. Exhale to C-curve back, so you've got that little bit of pillow to kind of support you and to make you feel like, yeah, I'm C-curving into that pillow, like your belly button is trying to come back for it. With those hands pressing into the chair, I want you to start to lift one leg up, then maybe lift the opposite heel or both legs up. Then lower back down. Okay, so that's even challenging for me. We'll go for 10. We'll try for 10. So I want you to lift the opposite leg up first, and then pull that other leg up and in towards the chest, and lower back down. Okay. As we continue lifting, we switch the legs that are coming up, and then try to lower them both down at the same time. Lower them down. Good. Lift the left and then the right, and then they both lower down. So remember, option is to keep continuing and trying your hardest to do this, but if you feel like you're kind of collapsing into the spine or you're kind of like shoving the shoulders up towards the ears to get those knees into the chest, go back to your single leg stretch, okay? Otherwise, you've got 3 more with that double leg stretch, one leg and then the other, roll back down, one leg and then the other, and then both back down. One more time, up, and then both come back down. Stack that spine tall. Now this time, open and close the legs out and in. Good job, everyone. Okay. And especially if you chose that double leg stretch, that's probably like the apex of where we'll get for our class today, like the hardest part. Well, there is one more, and that's the side bending, which we're getting into soon. All right, so now come off away from that pillow. Place it back onto your lap here, reaching those arms forward. And I want your goal to be not to like push the pillow off of your body by leaning forward, but just like we practiced, like that, now there's actually a pillow there. You have to go up and over it, but we're not going down this time, okay? I just want you to try to reach as far forward as you can with your arms, with your hands, as your spine in the back is trying to pull back behind you as far as you can. It's called spine stretch. Inhale, lift the spine back up, shoulders down, soft away from the ears. And then exhale, how far can you reach while your belly button does not touch the pillow? Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, 8 more. Sometimes I forget what number we're on. Last 7. Here we go. Also, Pilates teachers are like notorious for miscounting or not knowing how to count. 6. Inhale, lift back up. I'm trying to get better. 5. Now, sometimes you may hear me say like, oh, where did 4 go? I've got to count that one again. 4. Last 3. Do you feel a stretch in your spine? The further you reach forward, that spine is reaching back. 2 more. And then last and final 1. Oh, that feels so good. Okay, so now spine twist. You're going to hug that pillow back between the legs. Make sure you've got that big squeeze so you feel the inner thighs. The reason why we place it between the thighs for so many of our exercises is a little bit of an anatomy lesson here. Those inner thighs come right up into what's called the pubic bone. That pubic bone is a big attachment for our deep core. So if the inner thighs are activating and pulling on that bone, the pelvic floor, the transverse abdomen, like all of those muscles of the deep core working together to also lift up and in. All right, so now from here, arms out to the side, we go for our spine twist to exhale, exhale, exhale. That's all one breath. So you got to like let it all out and then inhale, come back center. Exhale, 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 and then come back to center. Okay, so keep trying. The reason why it's that exhale, hold, exhale, hold, exhale, hold is because by holding that, go ahead, inhale, come back center, by holding that twist, getting deeper, and then holding it even more, what you're doing is working an isometric hold and then a concentric contraction. Inhale, center. And then that rebound back to center is like a nice and juicy, that's like the best part of the spine twist, is because what you're doing is you're letting all that new blood, oxygen, and nutrients to rush back to the center that we just compressed, 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 and then release. One more time each side. Compress, 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 and then come back center. One more time to the left, 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 and then come back center. All right, so now we're going to try that C curve without the pillow behind us. Give yourself some shoulder rolls if that kind of tired out the arms a little bit. But now hugging that pillow between the legs so you can really feel that deep core connection. I'm going to show you from the side. So with those arms forward now, feet planted flat, legs squeezing in, C curve back. Okay, now we don't have a pillow there to kind of support us. How far back can you go before you touch the back of your chair? If you don't have a back of your chair, like how far can you go? And then inhale back up. Exhale, roll back. Remember that deep C curve, that deep ice cream scoop from the hips, rolling, rolling, rolling back. All while you're keeping the neck long, the shoulders soft, the fingertips reaching, and even the shoulders are trying to pull back, okay? So remember that oppositional energy that we talked about at the beginning of the class. Your arms are reaching, but your shoulders are also pulling back. 4 more times. We are going to hold that C curve in 3. And if holding those arms out in front of you, you can cross the arms in front of the chest. 2. And then hold it back on this last one, okay? So now we work through our rotation. Go ahead and bring those arms or those elbows off to one side of your chair and then back to center. Exhale as you rotate and then come back center. Do you feel the squeeze between the legs on that pillow as you hold your C curve back towards the chair? And we want to make sure if you do have a back on your chair, you're not resting on the back of your chair. You're kind of just hovering before you touch it. Good, we got 6 more each side. So now remember, if those arms are longer, what that means is that it's a longer lever. It's more challenging, okay? Rotating one side and then the other 3 more times. Last 2. Really turn it on those obliques. 2. 1 more each side. And 1. Then from there, you come back center, stack the spine tall. If you need to give yourself some wiggles, maybe out or moving through any tension of the spine, of the shoulders, just roll it out, okay? Move it out. Movement is medicine. So now from here, reaching arms forward or bringing them back across the chest, okay? From there, you find that C curve again. We're going to hold it in that position. So now if the arms are reaching forward, here's your option. One arm goes up and then back down. The other arm then comes up and then back down. If your arms are crossed across the chest, I want you to take one arm and just like kind of punch it up towards the ceiling, and then the other arm kind of punch it up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Okay. Now what this does is it gives your body a different kind of engagement of those obliques by reaching up instead of out. It's a completely different angle, and but it's a very subtle kind of difference from reaching out in front instead of reaching up overhead. But what this is doing is it's helping to create like a longer lever of your spine. So it's essentially like an extension of the spine that your core has to maintain this posture with. Last 3. Keep squeezing that pillow. 3. Last 2. It's like you want it to look like a bow tie piece of pasta. 1 more. And 1. Then you come back up, stack the spine tall, cat and cow through the spine, or maybe like your spine is the spoon and your hips are the bowl. You're kind of stirring up the pot in one direction and the next. All right. So last little bit here in that C curve, we're going to go for a backstroke. So here's how it looks. Those arms are either reaching forward or across the chest. So if the arms are forward, here's how it looks. You C curve back and hold. Now that arm, whichever arm you want to start with, reaches up. Watch where it goes as it goes for a backstroke back behind you. Scoop it forward and it comes back out. We're only going to do 5 each side, or 10 total. Okay, but if your arms are across the chest, I want you to just kind of like bring that arm down by the side and then back up. The other arm goes down by the side and then back up. It's like you're on a gondola in Italy. Oh gosh, what is it called? Venice. Okay, goodness gracious, geography. Well, now if you are going for those long arm reaches, we got 1 more each side. So 1 more on the left, scoop down and in front. 1 more on the right, scoop down and in the front, and then stack the spine up tall again. Nice job. All right. You guys look great from the videos that I can see. That pillow comes out from between the legs. Go ahead and give yourself some either windshield wipers from side to side, or some butterflies, open and close. All right. So now with our side bends, let's start with, I'll demo it on the right side first. So that pillow right next to your rib cage, and then like open that right arm up and over it. Okay, so you're like squishing that bow tie pasta between the rib cage and your arm. Like really try to get it like up there in the armpit. Okay. So that little bit of pressure that you're feeling on the side of the body is going to help you to kind of shift the rib cage to the left as your left arm reaches up and overhead. How far can your right hand go down towards the ground as your left arm reaches to the right side of the room? Inhale, that left arm just comes out to the side, and then exhale back over again. Inhale back up, and exhale. Keep squeezing that pillow in. I'm going to do 5 more each side, or not 5 more, sorry, we got 2 more. So we're doing 5 total each side. And then last one. Perfect. Now switch it over to the other side. So we're prepping the body for what's called lateral bending or side bending. So as you squeeze that left arm in towards the side, right arm reaches up and you feel that rib cage opening up away from the hips. Inhale and exhale. Yeah, you got it. There you go. Nice, Brenda. Exhale all the way up. Keep thinking that left arm is reaching down. Good. 2 more times. And last one. Awesome. Okay. So now with this next one, it does take a little bit of setting up to make sure that we do get the full contraction or the engagement of the muscle. So make sure you have some room on the side, on both sides of your chair. You can move your chair out of the way, or move like the pieces that are around you out of the way. But you want to have that pillow now underneath, like almost sit on it, or actually sit on that pillow, so that it gives the side of your hip a little bit of cushion. Let's have the left hand, so I'm sitting on it with my left hip. The left hand comes down on top of the chair, okay? And I want you to, like, that left arm is like a pillar, okay? Super long and strong right now. Your right leg is going to kick out to the side, and this is called a Sidekick kneeling position. Okay, so what's going to happen is eventually our body is going to be like a seesaw. So your upper body is going to bend towards the left side. So your left elbow is going to bend and then stretch back up again. Okay, so bend into the elbow as you go down and then press back up again. Inhale to bend and exhale to press. Okay, you can add on by lifting that right arm up overhead and exhaling to press back up, strong long arm. Inhale to bend and exhale to press. Okay, and now if you'd like to go to the completely optional but challenging position, as you lift that right arm up, can you lift the right leg up and then lower it back down? Okay, so that's why that pillow is there. It might be uncomfortable if it's not there, but it is possible to come into this movement. Yeah, good job, you guys. Nice. As you're lifting that leg up, like think about like if you're a star. So you want to shoot for the stars here, lifting up for 2 more. Inhaling all the way down with control. And last and final one. Great. And then lower back down. Okay, now hold that position, right leg stays out to the side, and lift the left arm up for a counter stretch. Feel that whole left side of your rib cage pulling to the left, and it's like your right rib cage is trying to lift out away from that hip. Right arm goes down the right leg. Oh, that feels so good. And then bring that left arm back down onto the chair. Okay, right arm out to the side, and now we add onto our side bend a nice little twist here. Okay, so as you twist, that right hand either comes down to the chair or presses into the left outside of your knee, the left knee on the outside. Just hold that rotation there. Keep pulling that navel, the belly button in towards the spine, the ribs trying to pull in towards each other as well. And like find if like, are you looking too far down and it feels like your head is just hanging, or can you pull the head back and the shoulders back to like find more of that alignment from head to heel. All right, now to untwist, your right arm like a cartwheel comes up, over and around, and you come back into your forward seated position. Take that pillow out of the way. Let's move ourselves over to the other side. Take your time here. There's no rush. But remember that you are going to want to have a little bit of that pillow underneath of that right hip. Your left cheek is kind of just hanging off of that chair. Left leg is off to the side, and your right hand is on top of pressing down into that chair. Okay, move things out of the way. Sometimes, like if you have an oblong shaped pillow, make it shorter, or maybe like push in on that pillow. But with that left arm reaching out to the side, let's try to keep the palm up so that as you reach up and over, when the arm comes over, the palm is down. Inhale, reach it back out to the side. Take your time to get there. And as you exhale, bend into your right elbow. Get a little lower into that side bend position. Inhale back up. And exhale, up and over. Reaching through the fingertips and try to keep pushing down into that foot. So again, that oppositional energy here. Do you feel your foot pressing and your arms reaching? And it's like everything between those 2 points is opening up. Now you have the option on these last 4 reps here to come up with that left leg, find your star, and then lower it back down. 3 more, lifting, reaching, finding those long, beautiful lines here. From heel to hand, 2, carefully lowering down, and last one. And bring it all the way back down. Now, your left hand goes down the leg, your right arm reaches up, and take that counter stretch here, really trying to pull away from the left hip and open up that right side of the body. Then from there, your right hand goes back down, left arm comes up, over, and around for that side bend and twist. Ooh, I just got a little adjustment there. That felt nice. Kind of check back in with where is the head, where are the shoulders, where is the rest of the spine, where are the ribs. Okay. It's always good to like know where your body is. It's called proprioception. Where's your body when you're moving it through space? Now that left arm, like a cartwheel, is going to go up, around, and over to then bring that pillow out from underneath of you. Very nice. Okay, now from here, with that pillow between the hands, elbows out to the side, your shoulders are soft, down away from the ears, and the feet are planted back onto the earth, hip distance apart. Take an inhale to hold that pillow off away from the pillow to prepare, and exhale, squeeze the hands together like you're trying to high-five yourself. Inhale, open, and exhale, squeeze. Open and squeeze. Okay, 7. We hold that squeeze in 6. Okay, so again, there's that bow tie pasta. 5. We're going to hold it in a bow tie pasta position in 4. 3 more times. Keep trying to pull those ribs together, belly button to the spine, and lifting that spine up tall. Last 1, hold that bow tie pasta. Now push it forward and pull it back in. We push it forward and pull it back in. As this is happening, remember that we don't want to move the body, but we are stabilizing the body. So there's none of this happening or none of this happening. Okay? Kind of looks like a Backstreet Boy like music video right here. 3 more to go. Holding those arms out in front of you. If that squeeze on the pillow feels a little too intense, just hold it between the arms. Don't we need to squeeze it. We hold it out in front, and now start to rotate to the right and rotate back center. This time on your twist, I'd like for you to try and inhale and then exhale back center. If rotating to one side feels a little too challenging with those long arms, you make it easier to modify, and the hands stay close in towards the chest. Okay? Good. So it looks like this from the side, either with that pillow in close. That's like easy. Okay. The pillow out further away, a little bit harder, and those long arms all the way, the hardest. 2 more each side. And 2. Good. Last side. And 1. Okay, now hold that pillow out in front of you, or remember if it's in towards the chest, that's okay too. But try to lift the pillow up on your exhale. And inhale, lower back down. There's still a slight squeeze between your arms, between your hands. Exhale and lift. Inhale and lower. Okay, so I'm demoing the hardest option here with those straight arms. Arms can be slightly bent, and keep that same angle of the arms there. So it kind of looks like you're like a ballerina with those arms up overhead. Or you can keep the arms in as close to the chest as possible, and it might feel like you're going to like hit yourself in the face with that pillow, but that's okay. We're trying to work on keeping those shoulders down. Last 4. Or maybe it feels good to like hug it in close and then to like press it up overhead. 2 more times. Still squeezing between those arms. And last one, now we hold the pillow up overhead. I know arms are probably getting a little tired, so if they are, drop the pillow but hold the arms up overhead. Keep the core pulling in with the ribs, and now I want you to twist your body again to the right and twist it to the left. Try to figure out now, let this be an exploration. Does it feel better to twist on your exhale and then untwist on your inhale? Or does it feel better to inhale as you twist and lift taller, 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 and then exhale back center? Okay, anytime any sort of rotation is coming through the spine, it's sort of an opportunity for us to notice how it may be collapsing down, or can we lift it up? Last 3 each side. Okay, my body says exhale feels better on my twist. 2 more each side. And then 1 more each side. And 1. Woo! Okay, let's bring that pillow down. Just rest the hands onto the pillow. Give yourself some shoulder shrugs first. Make them smaller and then wider and bigger. Okay, and then you can start to bring the arms into the movement if that feels good. Remember your backstroke or your reverse butterfly stroke. Okay, I'm just getting that blood flowing back down to the fingertips and back up again to the heart. Then reverse directions, whether it's a freestyle or maybe both arms with that butterfly stroke. Awesome. Okay, so now keep that pillow either on top of your legs, or if you'd still like to keep working that lower body, go ahead and squeeze it again between the inner thighs. We work now on lifting those arms out to the side. So a lot of the times when I'm working with people virtually, we really want to make sure that the shoulders stay down away from the ears. We don't want this to happen, okay? Imagine you've got like the longest dangling earrings and you don't want to touch them, okay? So now as your arms reach out to the side, think about those shoulders going down the back, away from the ears, lower back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Now, whether you're making a fist, just make sure it's not too tight, okay, or reaching long through the fingertips. It's, again, like you've got that energy zapping out away from fingertip to fingertip. And when you're reaching away, I want you to start to like feel a pinch in your shoulder blades between the shoulder blades. So not like a painful pinch, but like as if you could hold something between your shoulder blades themselves. Like there's a pencil, or maybe I could like swipe my credit card between it. Okay, let's do 2 more. And then last one, when the arms come down by the side, we work on chest expansion. So from the side view, it looks like this, where we pull the arms back and the chest opens up, okay? Then inhale, reach the arms forward just to about like mid-thigh or knee level, and then exhale, pull the arms back again. A lot of the times, like if this is your first class or your first Pilates session, we might see this happen, okay? We want to make sure that that doesn't cave forward, but instead you stay lifted, and it should almost look like if you had hands like kind of like Superman, like pulling your shirt open and showing that S. That's what's happening when those arms go back behind you. You're still pinching those shoulder blades between or around a pencil, or letting me slide my credit card between them. Exhaling back, inhaling forward. 4 more times. Last 3. 2 more, and then we'll reach the arms all the way up after this last one. So when the arms reach all the way up overhead, go ahead and take your left arm down the back and your right hand to that elbow. So that as that arm is trying to slide down the back, we want to make sure that it's not tipping the head forward here, but that your head is pushing back into the arm. Okay, you should feel a little bit of a stretch or a lot of stretch down that left tricep, the back of your arm there. Then reach both arms back up towards the ceilings like we're on a roller coaster ride, and then your right arm goes down the back, your left hand to the elbow, and gently slide it down between the shoulder blades. Make sure that head is pulling back behind you. And maybe you can give yourself like a little pat on the head. Good job, you made it to the end. Now it's just about stretching. Arms out to the side, cross the right over the left and give yourself a big hug, but then take your left hand onto that right elbow and keep pressing it across the body. Inhale, open the arms and give yourself a big hug left over right, and then pull that elbow back a little bit more with that right hand onto the left elbow. Nice job. Okay, now from there, that pillow, you can take it off to the side. We are done with that guy now. And with your left ankle or right, whichever leg you want to start with first, you bring it up to the opposite knee. Okay. From there, you can either stay here, that might already feel like a pretty good stretch, or you lean forward and like gently press that left elbow down into the thigh to help open up more of that hip. Even if you're leaning forward and not pressing onto that knee, you can still feel that helping to open up the hip at a different or just a deeper angle. Okay, that little extra pressure just adds a little bit more of that opening hip stretch. Lift yourself back up again, and then switch to the other side. Go ahead and make sure you have that good connection. You can hold on to the ankle so it doesn't like slide off the leg. Okay. But as you are leaning forward, make sure those toes are pulling up towards the knee. Take your time to get there, and maybe you got to hold the stretch a little longer. Or maybe it feels a little tighter on one side versus the other. Again, that's the beauty of Pilates and mindful movement, is that you start to notice some things that maybe you didn't notice before. Okay. Now, as you inhale and lift your spine back up tall again, take that same leg out in front of you. Toes are pulling up towards the nose. Heel is like trying to push itself further away, like as if there's like your foot is stuck in quicksand, and slowly keeps pulling away from you even more. And now reaching forward, like you're trying to pick your toes or pull your toes back towards you. Lean forward, and maybe you feel like hamstring, back of the calf opening up. And as you're going down, your left arm can rest onto your left thigh as like a little kickstand of support. Okay, then lifting yourself back up again. Switch over to the other side. Left leg is long, or whichever opposite leg for you. Your right arm or the opposite arm rests onto that bent leg and lean it forward towards the long leg. Toes are up, heel is pushing away from you, or actually I want you to feel as if it's pulling away from you. Okay. You guys did awesome today. Make sure you give yourself a round of applause, maybe another pat on your back for getting through and showing up to another Movement Monday with MS Views and News. All right, so that is our time for today. If you have any feedback for me or for the MS Views and News team, please let me know either in the chat, or you can email Stuart at MS Views and News. Is that right, Jill? Like, we can email Stuart? Okay, good. If you have any other questions for me or just want to like stay after and chat, I'm here for you. Otherwise, I will see you again next month in February. So the recording will be up probably by next week, or at the very earliest, the end of the week. And thank you so much, you guys, for coming. It was so good seeing you again. And if this is your first time, welcome to the family. Have an awesome rest of your night, everybody. Bye.